Good morning, everyone. I am Iris Din Chong, taking up Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English. So for my today's report, I'm going to report all about prescriptivism and equality language. So let's first define what is prescriptivism. It is the attitude or belief that one variety of language is superior to others and should be promoted as such. And an attitude to language is used that makes judgment about what is right and what is wrong and holds language up to an ideal standard that should be maintained. Prescriptivism prescribes the best and accurate way of the usage of the grammar. Prescriptivism is the idea that language rules should be consciously set or organized by a certain people like academies or societies to define which form are to be considered correct and which is wrong. So the main problem of this thought is that language is generally based on the convention and this system which works perfectly. Right. So prescriptivism needs a justification. In the past and among certain circles still today, there were ideas that language should be logical and that certain prescriptivism emphasized the following. First, the rules of correct proper usage of grammar. Second, dictates the good and bad grammar. And the last, control and regulate language use. Okay, so let's talk about verbal hygiene. It is the overt anti-prescriptive stance of linguists in some respect na unlike the prescriptivism they criticize. But the point is that both prescriptivism and anti-prescriptivism invoke certain norms and circulate particular notions about how language ought to work. Of course, the norms are different and in the case of linguists, they are often covert, but both sets feed into the more general arguments that influence everyday ideas about language. On that level, description and prescription turn out to be the aspect of a single activity, a struggle to control language by defining its nature. May use of the term verbal hygiene is intended to capture this idea, whereas use the term prescriptivism would just recycle the opposite or opposition I am trying to deconstruct. According to Deborah Cameron, 1995, the history of prescription about English of grammar text, manual of styles, and Morse type laments is in the part of bogus rules, superstition, a half-baked logic, groaningly unhelpful list, baffling abstract statements, false classification, contemptuous insiderism, and educational malfeasance. But it is also a history of attempts to make sense the word and its bazaar of competing ideas and interests. Instinctively, we find the arbitrariness of existence hard to accept. Our desire is to impose order on the word, which means inventing the form of language rather than discovering them. It is a creative act. Furthermore, the quarrel between descriptivism and prescriptivism is a sort of mad confederacy. Each party thrives on lambasting the others. Prescriptive grammar, essentially a manual that focuses on construction where usage is divided and lays down rules in governing the socially correct use of language. So, first, actively define language rules. Second, can say if a part of speech is wrong. Third, attempts to standardize the language. And fourth is less concerned with drill or word usage. And the last, formal. Equality is an opposite of prescriptivism. It is the idea that every form that is used by competent native speakers is equally correct, as it fulfills all the functions a language has to do. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the notion was widespread that some languages, generally presumed to be those of peoples with a primitive physical culture, either lacked a grammar completely or had a very simple grammar. Version of this story persists today, claiming that there is some tribe in a remote region of the world, the depths of Amazon or the highlands of New Guinea, who have a language of only 100 words and no grammar. This myth was exploded once linguists began to study this language and discovered that they had grammatical system every bit as regular and elaborate as any language of a culture with a civilization stretching back thousands of years. Although the grammatical structure of some language are
very different from those of English. Every language has
Okay, so that's all for my report. I hope you understand and there's something you learn about my reports. Thank you.